So let's look over the steps that are needed to use a z-score to find the probability of getting a sample mean below a certain number. There's actually only two steps that you need to follow. First, you need to calculate the z-score of the sample, which I showed you how to do earlier. And then you go to a table called the z-table, and you look up the z-score in the z-table. Once you look up the z-score, you get the answer that you're looking for. You get the probability. If you want to use a z-score to find the probability of getting a sample mean above a certain number, you actually have to go through three steps, and I'll show you what those three steps are. First, you have to calculate the z-score of the sample. Then you go to the z-table, and then you actually have to go to a third step. You have to get the decimal from the z-table and then subtract 1 by that decimal. And then that actually gives you the probability that you're looking for. Now let's look over the steps that are needed to use a z-score to find the probability of getting a sample mean between two specific numbers. First, you calculate the z-scores of both numbers that you're interested in. Then you look up both z-scores in the z-table, and then you subtract the larger decimal by the smaller decimal. And I'll go through a few examples of these types of problems with you. This is our first example. This question says that the heights of people in a certain population follow a normal distribution, and the mean height of the population is 60 inches, and the standard deviation of the population is 3 inches. This question says that a random sample of 9 people is selected from this population, and the heights of the 9 people are recorded. And we're going to use this information to calculate some probabilities. Before we can calculate probabilities, we have to know if the sampling distribution is normal. We have to know if the means of the possible samples of 9 people follow a normal distribution, or at least roughly follow a normal distribution. So let's look back at this question to see if we can decide whether the sampling distribution is normal. Well, this question tells us that the people in the population follow a normal distribution. The heights of the individual population members have a normal distribution. And we know that if the population is normal, the sampling distribution is always normal. That means that the answer to this question is yes, the sampling distribution is normal. Also, well, now that we know that the sampling distribution is normal, we can actually calculate some probabilities. First, let's find the probability of getting a sample mean with a height below 57 inches. Let's find the probability of the sample mean comes out below 57. To answer this question, first we need to find the z-score of the sample.